First and foremost, the announcement went out this morning. Breaking news: Alpha pulling out of Florida in 2025.
That's correct. We cannot stand for Governor DeSantis's antics of attacking not only black people but marginalized communities. These public policies that he's implementing, as well as a stance against voting rights, about appropriate respect for our culture. But the ultimate straw was this absurd perspective that slavery somehow benefited those who were a part of that chattel system. We can't stand for that. We're not going to stand for that. And anywhere we want to spend our monies, it will be in places that are advocating for people of color and marginalized communities.
Now, the Kappas had their convention recently in Tampa. They had a public statement against this as well. But people don't understand, this is not the first time that Alpha has pulled a convention from a location.
That's correct. We did it when Arizona would not acknowledge Martin Luther King's birthday.
They became the last state to do so.
That's correct. And we took financial hit to do it as an organization because of the principle. Not only is Brother King our brother, but he belongs to the world. What he stood for could not be denigrated by such politics. And we will do what we have to do. We're here in Texas, even today, making a statement. And brothers have to understand, in the new Jim Crow, we have to have new types of tactics, economic tactics, but be willing to sometimes go into the fire and stand close, but to lift the community while we're here. That's why we did the march yesterday to City Hall and really elevated economic issues, gun violence, women's rights, and the right to educate around true history that respects our people.
You mentioned Brother Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I'm always reminding people, on April 3rd, 1968 at Mason Temple, he called for redistributing the pain, that we do not spend our dollars at places and not reciprocating that. But he also called on black folks to coalesce and operate in unity as well. And so, again, we understand, America understands the money. And so our best way to send the message is to speak with our dollar. Either we are giving it or we're withdrawing it.
I absolutely agree. We have to think that the economic tactics is one of our number one, or at least number two tactics. Yes, when we decide to boycott, it does have an impact, but sometimes taking a more decisive move like we did in Florida, that's on a conservative $4.6 million, but probably closer to $10 million of economic surplus that could have helped the Orlando community. That's the governor's decision to cut off his people. He has to remember he's a governor for all people, not just for those who think like him.
Is Alpha also calling on other black organizations to follow our lead?
Absolutely we are. We have been working in concert with the Divine Nine. Trust me, where the Omegas are, the Kappas are in Florida, they will have tactics, I'm sure, as I've talked to their leaderships, respectively, to handle and address their concerns and making sure that the public knows that they've made a commitment to be there and they want to economically be in a positive manner for their organization. No one should take on and make a poor business decision because of political antics. However, to be silent would be the travesty, and they won't be silent, I'm sure. Also in September, and our current chairman of the Council of Presidents, Sister Rashida Liberty, the International Grand Basilisk of Sigma Gamma Rho, has been helping all of us to culminate that. But I also, in the September at the CBC, will become the chairman of the Council of Presidents. And I can assure you, we will continue to push this message as well as our voter education and empowerment so that in 2024, we will be effectively doing an inter-organizational alignment. For example, the United Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite Masons, the northern jurisdiction, Sovereign Grand Commander Blaise Moore has already committed to align with the Council of Presidents as we build an inter-organizational coalition. We just picked up, as you well know, Brother Dr. Freddie Haynes becoming the president and CEO of Rainbow Push Coalition. Trust me, even if if Reverend Jackson was there, we know they would be with us. Right. So this is what we have to do moving forward, and think a broad community approach.
Well, and the thing is, this is not just D9. We're talking about D9. We're talking about, yes, Masons, Links. We're talking about numerous black organizations, NAACP, Urban League, others considering going to Florida places. If all of a sudden 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 black organizations say, Florida, you're off limits, we're now talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, $500 million.
Exactly. Your scoring point is absolutely right on. And I'll tell you, that's where we have to hit these folks, is in an economic pocket. I'm also looking to help bring Brother Mark Morial and the Urban League into the integration with Brother Johnson from the NAACP, so we can have a multi-pronged approach as the D9 together, but also just doing an interspread between the black community and its leadership. It's time for us to shake ourselves from the fear of what was and take back that fear and move us forward. Certainly, when we take 2 steps forward, they try to tell us we'll go back 20 steps. But at the end of the day, we need to be in a fighting mode. And as I have said recently in Washington, D.C., until the incorruptible put on incorruption, and those who are immortal put on, the mortal puts on immortality, which means when Christ comes, that's when we'll see the difference. Until then, we need to fight, and we need to be in a posture for fighting.
Absolutely. So I know we got the public program. You got to be there. I got to MC it. So both of us got to get in there. We appreciate it. And, of course, we're live streaming the public program as well, so people will be able to hear more about all of this. We appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.